Welcome to Dwarf Fortress, and welcome to the channel. I am Twisted Logic. In this area here, we are going to build a hospital that is capable of supporting mass casualty event, as well as werebeasts. So werebeasts are level 2 building destroyers, and they will be able to destroy doors, and anyone bitten by a werebeast is going to become a werebeast. So the hospital that we're going to set up is going to mitigate the damages if we have a werebeast event. Okay? If you build the hospital wrong, maybe a were-lizard will take out your whole base. Something like that, you know? So we're going to start with a single entrance into the area, and I'm not going to breach it yet. I'm just going to plan it out a little bit. Okay, I think this looks pretty good so far. So every single dwarf is going to get their own room, and so we don't want like a common dormitory-style hospital in a were-creature event, because then as soon as the moon changes, if we didn't isolate that dwarf into quarantine, then he's going to attack other dwarves, and they're going to get the were-virus as well. And then it's so on and into a spiral, to a death spiral of your fortress, all from one little were-lizard bite. Okay, now that most of the entrance here is dug out, we are going to construct a bridge, because we want to be able to isolate the hospital off from the rest of the fortress, just in case things go out of control in there. And we are going to have this raised to the north and closed inside the hospital. Just like that. Mudstone blocks is fine. Okay, so they're going to create that. And then in our secondary dining hall, or somewhere close by, we're going to create a lever. And we're going to link this lever to the bridge. Excellent. This area down here, we're going to create a new stockpile. Right about there. Okay. Accept that. And this is going to be a barn block stockpile. And it's only going to accept soap. So this is going to be a soap stockpile right here, in the bottom part of the hospital. We can build it off wherever, but we don't want to build it within one of the rooms. And now right in the mechanic shop here, mechanics workshop, we're going to add a new task to make traction benches. And a traction bench is going to require a table, mechanisms, and a chain or rope to build. And the traction bench is used by a bone doctor in the hospital to immobilize a dwarf that has sustained complex or overlapping fractures. Okay, build, furniture, bed. And we're going to keep building, and we're going to use the closest material, and we're just going to put it on the center tile just like this in all of the rooms. Okay, we're going to have to make a little bit more beds, but now we're going to go to build and then furniture, and we're going to select table, and we're going to use the closest material and keep building, and we're just going to put that right here in all of the rooms, and then also down here. And the tables are going to be used as a place to perform surgery, and you should not put chairs next to these tables. Okay, build, furniture, and a traction bench, and the traction benches are going to go on this tile right here. And we may still be building these. And so this is going to be the basic layout of the room. 2x3, traction bench, bed, table. So we're ready to create this whole area as a hospital zone. So we're going to go to zones, and then meeting area. But I just want to say that if you're in the very early part of the game and somebody's injured, and they're not able to move, if you create a small zone, just like this right here, then the other dwarves are going to bring that dwarf to this zone, as long as we set it as a hospital. So we're going to go to set that as a hospital. Okay, the crystalline homes, that's now a hospital. This is going to be treated exactly the same as a medical sleeping spot in RimWorld, where you don't have a bed or anything. They'll be able to pick up a colonist or a dwarf that is unable to walk and bring them to this location. So it works out really well in the early part of the game sometimes if you get injured, but we're going to destroy that. And then we're going to paint it in the whole area, so meeting area. And we're going to select the corner there, and then all the way down so we get that soap stockpile in there as well. And accept that. Assign a new location, and then we're going to assign this as the crystalline homes. Okay, so now this is a big hospital area, and all the injured dwarves are going to start coming in and resting. Okay, we're going to go back to zones here, and we're going to select the hospital zone, And now we're going to select the details of the location. We need to assign a chief medical dwarf to utilize a hospital. Okay. So we're going to go to our nobles and administrators menu here and select somebody with any relevant skills. Nobody has relevant skills, so it's going to be Cog. Planter Cog is now the chief medical dwarf. Back in the details of the hospital here, we have different items that the hospital wants. Thread, cloth, splints, crutches, powder for casts, buckets, and soap. Okay? We want to make sure our hospital is well stocked. And so we're going to check this kind of often, and if we start running low on one material, we're going to increase that limit. However, one stockpile unit of thread is worth 15,000 in the hospital. Okay? So you imagine a big ball of thread, and they're going to chop it up into little bits and use it a couple inches at a time. Same with the cloth and the soap. One stockpile unit of cloth is worth 10,000. And one bar of soap they're going to cut up 150 times. The gypsum powder as well, 150 times for one bag of gypsum. Thread is used to suture or sew wounds closed. Cloth is used to clean wounds, wash patients, and dress wounds. Splints will immobilize limbs that have bone fractures, and they'll allow the broken limbs to be utilized until fully healed so they can get back to work. Crutches help dwarves walk again if they're crippled. Plaster powder is used to keep bones in their proper place until healed. So the buckets are used to gather water and hold it, and the water is used to clean wounds, bathe patients, and give drinks to the patients. The patients will not drink alcohol. And the soap is used to clean wounds and sterilize and prevent infection. You can set up the hospital without soap. However, it increases the risk of infection, and that may kill the dwarves. Okay, so we can increase this thread a little bit. Maybe 10. The cloth as well, because that's going to be split up. 10 powder for casts. Buckets we're going to need a lot of, because of the water involved. Maybe about 30 or so buckets. And all of this stuff is going to be stored in the chests in the common area, but we're going to create some more than 16. And the soap desired max, we can turn this way up since we're making a lot of soap right now. Okay, so we set soap desired max to 30, and that is going to give us 4,500 uses of those 30 bars of soap, because one bar of soap is cut up in 150 times. We set Cog as the doctor, and we cleared all his other labors, specialized him, and we also brought in Zuntar and Mitab. And then we can also set someone for diagnostics, somebody for surgery, and a bone doctor later on. So splints and crutches are both made in the carpentry workshop. We're going to set these higher, maybe like 35 of each. And they're relatively available for trading. Cloth is also pretty available for trading. Thread here, there's a super easy way to get thread, which I'll show you shortly. And powder is pretty easy as well. And buckets are made in the carpentry workshop. And I already showed you how to make soap in a previous video. Okay, so we're down here at elevation -99. And there's a cave system here, but also we have a bunch of magma workshops set up. This is a magma kiln right here. And next to the magma kiln is gypsum. If I go into this stockpile, this is a custom economic stone stockpile, and we're accepting alablaster, gypsum, statin spar, and selenite. Okay? And these 4 materials here can be turned into the plaster powder. However, we're also going to require an empty bag and a kiln. So in the kiln here, we can add a new task. And right down here, make plaster powder. And we're going to put that on repeat. And right now. And down at this same level, the reason why I told you it was elevation 99, there's a cave system here. And every so often in this room, we have spiders that show up. And they create this cave spider silk. So this is a workshop layer, but it is also like kind of a mini silk farm, because the vermin spiders are going to create this silk. All we have to do is create a loom and set the collect webs job, and then go to our labors and standing orders Automatically collect webs is the third one down. Automatically weave all thread is set to either no automatic weaving or weave dyed thread only. Okay? And then we're going to have a bunch of thread coming in. So we can go to build, workshops, cloth and leather. Okay? And then we're going to create a loom. And we'll build that loom right in the corner here. The loom is now complete and the collect webs job is enabled. So English is resting in bed here, and now that she has been diagnosed, we can see the status here. Ability to grasp is somewhat impaired. If we go to wounds here, left upper arm is smashed open. It's been sutured, but it looks like it's got an infection. The left hand bone is smashed open, and she has an infection as well, so hopefully she makes it. Left upper arm needs immobilization. Okay. And then we have a medical history here. If we thought that those wounds were caused by a werebeast, then we can go to build, construction, wall. Okay. And then we can just build a wall right there. And that's going to seal her in the room. Building destroyers are not going to be able to destroy constructed walls. I know she hasn't, so we're going to just cancel that. And then we do have water relatively close to the hospital, right over here. And I was thinking about making a water pipe to come somewhere along here to get water in the center. If I do create a well in the center of the hospital here, then I have to keep in mind that there are aquatic werebeasts, and they could use that well as an escape route. So what I could do is I could build a bridge within the water pipe that closes on the same lever as this bridge. So we can seal off the hospital with one lever. And we want to make sure not to set desired thread too high, because as soon as we start extracting metal strands, then we need to make sure that the hospital is satisfied and they don't take those metal strands.